couple of minutes just for people to join in and for it to officially be the top of the hour. But I think that we have officially started. We are live. So with that, welcome everybody to the Navigating Beyond the Coronavirus Economy webinar. This week, we are being joined with Tom Canterino, and he's going to be talking to us about how to adapt your local business marketing to attract customers. And so with that, Tom, I'll let you kind of take it from here, give your presentation, and then at the end, we will jump into a Q&A session.
Sounds perfect, and I appreciate it. And thanks for joining us. I'll pop my camera on at the Q&A section, but sometimes my computer doesn't like me when I have my camera up and my slides, so just bear with me. But a lot to cover, so let me get started. All right, so I'm going to go a little bit about me in a moment, but the topic today will be how to how to adapt your local business marketing to really quickly attract and activate customers that still really want your guys' products and services, even in an unpredictable market. And we're really here today to share with you something that's been a big part of our business for a long time and it's super relevant right now. And it's all about really utilizing one of the tools inside of Google, if you will, that a lot of people don't take full advantage of. So that being said, I'm going to jump into my slides. So I always start off with our presentations with a quote from a notable speaker, Robert Crawford. And this is one that I saw the other day. And I thought it was really super relevant to talk about and really to start today's call. So being challenged in life is inevitable, but being defeated is optional, right? I think a lot of us are in our business right now, can potentially be facing some challenges or did face some challenges, and we're looking at new ways of doing things, right? And I know from my own perspective, especially at the start of the pandemic, I spent months going in and out of feeling whether or not this is going to get better or worse, and really having to change my attitude about a lot of things. Luckily, I think we can all agree that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that is definitely something I think we can all be thankful for. And the thing that you may be hearing or feeling lately is that that challenge really breeds that opportunity, right? Challenge has not escaped us. I remember back when we started our agency, we about a few years in, we found out that about half of our employees were starting another company, a competing company, if you will, while still being employed by me. So we knew that, I mean, if I look back at all the different challenges that we've been through, I can say they all somehow positively impacted the direction for us. And even though in the past moments or in the present moment, it might be hard for us to really fully understand that, if you will. So the fact that folks are here is just a huge step in the right direction. The fact that you're willing to listen and invest in yourself and get some further education is great. So I wanted to thank the folks on the call for making the time to invest in yourself. And who is this session primarily for? This is for anyone who wants more business. It's been true 2 months ago, it's true now, and it's going to be true in the future that a lot of us are looking to attract more business. So that essentially hasn't changed, but maybe the reason why you're looking for that has. This is also for businesses who are either considering or currently in some sort of pivot. This is for businesses that may be impacted or have been impacted by mandates to a certain degree. And so let's talk about a little bit about who we are. I know there's some folks in the room that may already know about us or might be working with us. So I'm Tom Canterino. I am the founder and principal of Level Up Digital Solutions. And here is some of my team as well. So we started our agency back in, I want to say it was in 2010. We'll be going about 11 years in January. And we've had the opportunity to work with lots of different types of clients. We built over 1,000 websites, hundreds of digital marketing campaigns, and we have had an opportunity to really get to know not just businesses in the local area, but the marketing community as a whole as well. So to dive into one of the main topics that I really want to touch upon today is understanding local SEO and really why it's key to a business's web presence. There is a tool that's built inside of Google that's called your Google My Business listing, which is so underutilized and it's really confusing for a lot of small businesses, but it can be highly impactful when it is optimized and when it is used to the best of its ability. So we're going to cover how you can get more exposure, especially in the search engines. For instance, Google, Bing, Yelp, and a lot of the others, DuckDuckGo, and a few others. So everyone knows about the quote unquote always online world that we live in today. And the biggest driver of this is the mainstream adoption of smartphones. You can't really you can't go outside without seeing a person on the sidewalk hunched over, staring at their phone. We're probably all guilty of that to this day, right? But when people think of an online world, they normally think of huge companies like Amazon and Airbnb. But what people often overlook is how this change has affected the landscape, really for local businesses. And the truth is that the customer journey for local businesses has had a major shakeup in the last few years. For instance, when we look at the various touch points, we can see exactly how today's customer is in a far more control than they used to be, right? So the old approach for local businesses would be invest in traditional advertising like print and telemarketing. But these mediums, they're valuable to some degree, but they really are no longer a conversion driver. People are looking for businesses today will simply Google what they're looking for when they want it, when it's most convenient for them, and not anyone else. So personal recommendations essentially are no longer required. Today's customer can now get the opinions of hundreds of people in seconds through online reviews rather than getting just one person's opinion, right? And the truth is customers today have access to more information than ever before. All of this is good for the customer as it makes their life far easier. Most people these days don't want a pushy salesperson. I think we can all agree to that. They want to do their own research online, learn as much as they can, then they'll buy when they're ready and really fully educated. Today, once a customer has reached out to you, they're far further down the sales funnel than they would have been 15 or so years ago. And not only that, but if a business has a great online reputation, then customers will be really far easier to sell to, and they'll happily spend more with you as well. What's interesting now is how online is actually driving offline sales. Even if a local business is recommended by a friend, today's customer will still check out the business online before they even contact them. And one statistic that I find pretty fascinating is that 70% of mobile local searches result in offline purchases. So not investing in your online visibility is really no longer a viable option for any business that is really looking to grow their revenue. And high performing local businesses have figured out just how important investing in local search marketing actually is. A recent study by Google found that small businesses that are making the most use of online are about 2.8 times more likely to enjoy revenue growth than those who did not. Um, on the other hand, over 500,000 businesses in the US close every year. One of the biggest reasons companies struggle is really because they simply fail to adapt their businesses to succeed in this new, what we call online first landscape. So what we do essentially is help companies make that transition. Um, and the ultimate goal is to help the folks that we work with generate more leads online, more awareness, more exposure, and whether that's by getting businesses more phone calls, emails, clicks, walk-ins, etc. And how do we do this? We help our clients through a practice called local search optimization or local SEO. This helps businesses rank higher on Google when people are searching for their specific services. These are the kinds of leads that everyone wants because they are self-qualified and have a genuine need for your services. So they are hot buyers that are putting in a search term and they are trying to find the product or service that you have to offer. So really any business that serves customers in a specific location essentially needs local SEO and they need a local SEO strategy. Um, this might not be a surprise, but Google makes up 90% of all search engine traffic. So we primarily focus on Google's algorithm. And Google has a different algorithm to rank local searches versus non-local searches. An example of a local search is lawyers in Manhattan. An example of a non-local search might be Sony 43-inch TV because of course that's a product. It's not tied to a physical location. So how have we helped some of the clients? This is just a case study of a coffee shop that we work with. That is they have about 400 locations across the U.S. With increasing competition, and they really wanted to increase their foot traffic on their East Coast location. So after utilizing local SEO tactics and a lot of the other tactics that we put into place, we were able to increase their overall customers, increase their revenue by 2x, and increase their additional store visits, all by getting them more visibility from online search. Another case study with a plastic surgeon that we work with. At the end of the day, we were able to double the number of bookings for their practice, and we had over 15 of their keywords ranking on that first page of Google. So how do we do this? And I mean, when we talk about SEO or local SEO, it's kind of a wild west. There's a lot of moving parts. It can be very confusing. So I'm going to try to break it down into layman's terms into what Google is really looking for in order to rank a local business. So when we look to improve rankings on Google, we first really need to understand what Google wants. Quite simply, all Google wants to do is give their searcher the best possible result for their query. Um, So if we dig a little deeper into this, Google uses a local algorithm to really work out which results they think are best. And it's broken up into these three simple elements: proximity, relevance, and prominence. So proximity, this is how far away the business's location is from the person making the search. As an example, if you're a lawyer based in Chicago and someone searches for lawyers in Manhattan, you're never going to appear in the results. So proximity is simply a metric that you can't control or influence. You can't decide where someone searches from and what city they are searching for. Another one of those key um, uh, signals is relevance. This is how well your business's online presence matches what the searcher has searched for. So a simple example of this is that if you're a lawyer and someone searches for a plumber, you're never really going to appear in those results. Now, this is obviously an extreme example, but it's layered, right? As another example, if you're an employment lawyer and a person searches for an immigration lawyer, it's unlikely that your business will be returned ahead of businesses that purely specialize in immigration law. Um, and then the final element Google uses is what we call prominence. This is how Google determines which business has the most trust through a variety of elements such as reviews, links, content, etc. So Google uses different algorithms for the two types of results you see on screen when you make a local search. The first is the local map pack, which is the section that you see on screen. Um, and it sits above the organic listings. So every year there's a conglomerate SEO company that does a survey of some of the most recognized local SEO practitioners to really learn what they think are the key factors that affect local ranking. And then what this survey essentially gives us is really a powerful breakdown to help visualize the factors Google uses to really help rank businesses. And then we incorporate this into the work we can complete for our clients to help drive more leads for their businesses. And then Google has a separate algorithm for the organic results, which are the blue links you see below the local pack. And these organic results are still based on the location of the searcher or the query. So we call them localized organic results. We focus on both algorithms essentially to help our clients drive more leads from Google. And we believe in really full transparency with our clients. And I'm going to dive into and show you each factor and the actual work we do to build authority for our clients, specifically inside of Google. So we can see that the Google My Business profile makes up about 25% of the overall algorithm signals. This is a free listing that Google gives you to control. If someone searches for your business on Google, this is what will essentially appear on the right-hand side of the page. So it's normally the first things prospects will see when they look for you online. If your Google My Business profile hasn't been properly optimized, then you're essentially never going to succeed in local search. And there's a ton of room for error, essentially when setting up and managing a Google My Business listing, especially for business owners who are too busy actually running their business to read through the research on best practices. And this is really why when we start working with the client, this is one of the first things that we review. So in terms of um, what work we complete for our clients' GMB listing, it all starts by covering what search terms people are actually searching for. So we use Google's tools to pull back the total number of local searches on Google every month for each of your products and services. And this usually helps us identify which search terms we need to optimize for. As an example, if there are 300 people a month searching for Nissan dealerships, but there's 700 people a month searching for Nissan car dealers, we want to make sure we're optimizing the client's GMB profile for the search term with the higher volume. And then from there, we'll run research on essentially the top performing competitor's profile and build on this for our client's profile. We'll also audit the data in the profile and make sure we add compelling descriptions and images to really further drive conversion for anyone looking for their business. And then another key area we'll work on is the Q&A section on the Google My Business listing. And then these are really questions and answers that are prominent on the profile and are essentially like community sourced FAQs that live on the listing. And we can post brand friendly FAQs for our clients to really help users see them directly on your profile without having to need to ask. And then we also monitor these to make sure they give the best impression of the business that we're working on. And we'll also continuously create Google posts. These are like social media updates that really live on the Google My Business profile. These help drive conversions from your listing and are really a good signal to Google that your business is active and relevant. This is something that surprises a lot of people. The search results you see is not what other people are seeing. It all depends on where you are. When you do your search, the results will be different. So it begs the question: how can people find your business if they're not physically near it? So if you take a look at the example on screen of this GeoGrid, this graphic shows what position a business shows up in Google search results, depending on where the search happened. And you can take a wild guess as to where this person was searching from, and it's normally wherever you see the lowest number. So essentially, as we know, we want to be in the 1, 2, or 3 category, because the 1, 2, or 3 is really where um, uh, is the only 3 areas where Google is going to show it is going to show you off in that map pack listing. So if you're in the number 4, you're not going to be visible. So we month over month and time over time, we look to optimize the business that we are working on to start to expand the map and get them more share of the demographic that we are going after. So for instance, this is a dentist that we work with, and when we started with them, they had a very small visibility range in their localized region. And then what we do is we put our strategies in place. We look at their competitors. We look at the map pack listings in the expansion area, and then we continuously put our strategies in place. And month over month, we optimize, and then we start to get more green. The more green that we see on the map, the better. So another another signal that Google looks at in their algorithms are links. And links are a crucial ranking factor for Google. Links are essentially votes or endorsements for your business's competence, quality, and character. So for example, if a respected university or industry publication links to your website, they are endorsing your business and putting their own reputation at risk. Should you prove unworthy or for their recommendation. It's really the same with peers and partners, and then that are vouching for you in the form of a link. Essentially, puts their own reputation at risk. Links are costly because they are not a commodity to be bought and sold. They really have to be earned. You have to give people a reason to link to you. You have to consistently provide clearly differentiated, high quality goods and services, including in many instances, blog content that is sought after, unique, and valuable. So as a local business, it can be difficult to acquire links for your business's website without the right knowledge and the right tools in place. So the approach we take is the first stage of our link strategy for our clients is really completing a link audit to understand what the current link profile is like, and to really identify and remove any potential harmful links. We also need to assess how your link profile compares to your competition, really in order to fully understand exactly what is required from a link building campaign. Link building is similar to relationship building in many ways. It needs to be earned. Other websites don't like linking out to websites for the fun of it, and it's as simple as that. So we look to leverage any existing relation that whomever we're working with already has. This could be with any local organizations you have relationships with, and this really helps your site get some quick wins through relationships you've already built. And then we'll also seek out new sponsorship opportunities with local schools and charities that can also link back to you. We'll also look to target business directories, which can provide links to your site to grow your authority. And then lastly, we approach bloggers and relevant sites to write content for them in exchange for a link. And then all of these approaches help grow your link profile and authority within Google. And then we've seen a huge change over the past 5 years in the power that the consumer's voice has, really um, uh, on any type of business. Online reviews have been a growing importance since smartphone adoption. And then online reviews really don't affect your rankings, but they impact every stage of the customer's buying journey. And then we can break down the journey into three sections: discover, evaluate, and trust. On the first stage of discovery, having more positive online reviews, you have a better chance of ranking higher in local searches on Google and on other sites. And then this means new potential customers are more likely to find your business when they're searching. And then the next stage in the journey is evaluation. Your customers might be evaluating you on Google. As a potential customer evaluates your listing and star ratings, they're also evaluating your customers and competitors as well. And then more often than not, they will reach out to the business with the best reputation. The benefit of having great online reviews are that they help you make you rank higher. Then you're getting and that will help you get more clicks and calls than your competitors. And then finally, online reviews help build trust in abundance. A business with a great online reputation will establish great trust with the prospect before they've ever spoken or even spoken to them. So not only will you rank higher and get more clicks and calls, but customers will be easier to sell to and more likely to buy from you because of your online reviews. So the first thing we do is we can complete for our clients is an audit of their reviews and really benchmark them against their top performing competitors. We'll always look to introduce a review generation strategy as well. Um, and the big challenge with online reviews is that an unhappy customer is far more likely to leave a review than a happy customer. So we use sophisticated software for our clients that works by asking your customers to leave reviews on the most important sites, helping you drive your online reputation. And then through the reporting we do, we also make sure that customers get quick responses to reviews to really improve trust signals. Um, and one of the next factors is on-page signals, which is basically everything that lives on your website, everything that Google sees when they crawl it. Um, and there's really a vast range of metrics to consider when optimizing on-page signals. When we engage with a client, we'll always run a full site audit in the first month to make sure their site is sending all the right signals to Google. And then just some areas that we assess are title tags and header tags. Is there enough content on page? Is it locally relevant? Are there clear calls to action? And then are there calls to action to help drive site conversion? And then is it easy for a consumer to navigate and get in contact with you? And then one of the final signals is a local citation, also known as a business listing or an online directory listing. This really is any place online that displays your business's name, address, and phone number. Google goes to sites like Yelp and Yellow Pages to validate the data they have for your business. And then if Google finds data that doesn't match or is missing altogether, this can really hurt a business's ability to appear in search results. So furthermore, then we also at that same time run another audit of the citations for the business that we're working with, making sure that we build out and sometimes clean up citations on the most powerful directories to really ensure the business's data is listing 100% correct. And this really ensures optimal visibility for optimal visibility in Google for your business. And then almost wrapping up, I wanted to walk folks through what we call the local domination roadmap. Everyone comes to us with one thing. They want more customer activity. But really, in order to get that, we know that we need to follow the steps that are outlined here. And these are really all the different puzzle pieces that we know and that have been tried and true steps that we need to win. 9 times out of 10, when customers come to us saying that they've tried digital marketing and they don't get results, is they really didn't follow the steps in the right order or skipped some altogether. And quickly, the goal here is to kind of show you the roadmap that we take and the step-by-step actions that we take in order to make sure that we are setting up whomever we're working with for success. So when we start with that, we start with the marketing foundation, and this is really where we establish credibility. We communicate what the business does, and then we start to create trust with folks that are looking for our business. The core strategies that we use, of course, is a professional website, is your reviews and reputation, and we have an in-house product that we have built called Review Lead, and then also your Google My Business as well. So Google My Business, which we spoke in depth about prior. And then the next step is what we call active searches. Active searches is really where we begin to create local visibility. and make sure that customers can find you when looking for you, and that you're actually showing up. Think of a local search. So you put in plumbers near me. We want to make sure that if someone is putting that search term inside of Google, that you are one of those businesses that are coming up um, on that 3-pack inside of Google. And then we also utilize Google pay-per-click campaigns and strategies, and what we call GMB Max, and that is really putting together a, um, a very in-depth scenario for your Google My Business profile. And then active search is really about finding the hot buyers. So like I mentioned, these are the folks that are actively searching in Google, and we want to make sure that your business is coming up so they can find you. And then one of the last segments is the passive strategies. The core strategies that we use are Facebook and Google Boomerang ads. And this is really where we try to amplify awareness. We tap into and try to attract customers who need your products, but they might not be actively looking. So we can utilize different strategies within Google's platform and within Facebook's platform to really amplify awareness and to get the message out. In marketing, we know that someone needs to see a piece of content or your content at least 7 to 10 times before they make any type of decision or take a next step. So passive really is all about creating awareness. So just to put a pin in that, so you can really kind of get a visual understanding of how this pyramid not only allows us to build a strategy that focuses on all 3 stages of the buying cycle. It really also gives us a roadmap of the most logical order to do it in. And then based off of this, it should be much easier for the folks that we're working with to feel really confident in the choices that we're making will attract customers today. So we're going to be wrapping up shortly. We have now there's really 2 different types of choices that anyone can take, right? So, and of course, at the end of the day, we're trying to set up everyone for success, and we're trying to make the most impact, especially in the times that we have lived in this past year and a half, and in the current times as well. So the first step, of course, is kind of go at it alone, take the information that we share with you and really figure this out without any help. And then the second option is really to get it right the first time and partner with professionals that have done it over and over again and that have learned the hard way, and to make sure that we're setting the folks that we're working with up for success. And of course, we know that the second option is, of course, that the smart decision, and really here is why, is really that we are going to offer a customized playbook for any one specific situation. We've moved fairly quick through this presentation today, and what we'd like to do is offer an opportunity to go through each of these steps with your business and build a customized action plan and analyze and really a full analysis of your business with doing that. So as I mentioned, if anyone is interested in getting what we call our local SEO or our marketing playbook, this is a link that you can go directly to and fill out a very quick form, and then someone from our team will reach out and get your playbook scheduled. And then here's essentially what you're going to get. You're going to not only get a customized local domination roadmap playbook, but we're going to review all of your existing marketing foundation activities, all active and passive opportunities that you may or may not have done. We're going to give you a custom geo grid ranking report based on where in the US or elsewhere you're based. We're going to show you a search volume and a competitor report for your keywords. We're going to show you a reputation and review report across multiple channels, and then a plethora of other different assessments that we're going to provide, including website health, age, etc. This, of course, is all completely complimentary. It's free. There's no hard sales. You take the education that is customized and is relevant for your specific business, and you run with it. So that is the link to go ahead and schedule time to get your playbook is right below. And of course, I know this session will be recorded as well. So if you weren't able to make it on the call today, this link will be live for the rest of the year. So feel free to visit that link whenever it's most convenient. So at that point, I am wrapped up. I don't know if there is any questions.
Well, I know I have a question, and this is Aubrey. Is at the beginning of the presentation, you had said that the vast majority of businesses that close do so, or 70% close in the first 10 years, and oftentimes that's because of either an inability or an unwillingness to kind of pivot their business to match with the times. So for small businesses that really don't have an online presence at all, like they're just super behind, in your mind, what is like the starting point? Like, what would be the best place for them to start that you would prioritize over everything else?
Yeah, so definitely the number one thing would probably be get a Google My Business listing up and running. It's free. It's probably the first stepping stone on getting visibility, especially within Google, and especially if you're a localized business, because we're actually seeing about 80% of leads and conversions that are stemming from a Google My Business listing. It's really acting as a second homepage, if you will. Some people that we work with, they don't even have a website. They simply have a Google My Business listing that is relevant to their product or business and services. And over time, it really can act, like I said, as your website. But as a first step, it's definitely getting a Google My Business account listed. It's free. There are resources out there that help you kind of walk you through how to get that set up. But I would definitely say that would probably be my first step.
So you would say getting a Google My Business listing is even more important than getting a, like, for the types of businesses that don't even have a website yet, you would say you would prioritize that Google listing over even making yourself a website?
Yep, definitely. Yep, because the Google My Business listing will automatically get indexed within Google. So since Google, believe it or not, Google loves Google. So Google is going to appreciate that you're actually utilizing their tool. And the flip side, website, of course, I mean, we build websites day in and day out, but it takes time for a website to rank. So it's going to take 3, 6, sometimes a year for a website, depending on how competitive the market is. But it could take, we've had some clients in certain industries that it takes 18 months for a website to get on that first page of Google. We know that it is so much quicker to get visibility, primarily with that Google My Business page. Now, and then when you add in a website, it's just icing on the cake, because your website will then start to mature. It's then going to start to talk to the Google My Business listing And then it just starts to, you're starting to really develop what we call a 360 marketing strategy approach, if you will.
Interesting. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like we have any other questions. And so with that, I think that we can close it out if you don't have anything else to add.
Yeah, no, that's it for me. And I appreciate everyone's time, and thanks for having me.
Perfect. Well, thank you. We appreciate your time, and we will see you guys in the next webinar. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate your time, Tom.